Move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
Wow!
Hey, Slam! My dinghy's bigger than your whole boat!
Welcome back to the Caddyshack Minute. This is the podcast where we discuss and view and pick apart and flirt with the film Caddyshack 1 minute at a time. I am Tom Taylor, and I am joined by my co-hosts Mike DeMaria.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm fine.
Enough about that, because I also have to introduce Dan Lewis. Welcome, Dan.
Hello, dum-dum.
I actually don't have to welcome you. You live here. This is your show, too.
That's
but guess what, guys? We're also joined by a guest tonight. We are joined by Mark Cerulli, co-host of the Airport Minute podcast. Welcome, Mark.
Well, thanks for nothing.
Oh, he's Irish.
So that's what I like to hear.
I didn't know you were Irish. That's incredible.
You've got a
It's so
great fake
authentic.
Irish accent.
Well, I went to Catholic high school, so it helps.
Oh, perfect.
He was beaten by a lot of people with Irish accents.
Sure. Yeah, that's one way to pick up the
in
accent.
Catholic school, yes.
Mark, tell us about yourself. I know you from the Airport Minute. I don't know if these guys have listened to it, to be honest, because they're ne'er-do-wells. They can't even read, let alone listen to an awesome podcast. But what brings you here tonight?
Well, I am a huge Caddyshack fan.
Oh, perfect. That's all you need.
Back in the day, I did some DVD documentaries, a couple of James Bond movies, the Halloween series, and when I was, lukewarm, I went to Warner Home Video and begged them to let me do a little making of on Caddyshack, and at the time they weren't interested, and then a few years later they went with another production company. But I don't care. I still love the film.
You still get credit for that, for just wanting to do it and trying to do it and almost doing it.
Yeah.
You get credit in my book. Well, we're glad you're here. You're going to help us out with minute, what is this, 35?
35.
Okay, here's how unprofessional I am. I don't even have my thing up yet. Hang on. Do I read the thing? Okay, here we go.
Notes, Tom?
I got my notes, Mike. Mike loves that I take notes. We are here to talk about minute 35 of Caddyshack, and minute 35 begins with Al Czervik suggesting that Tony D'Annunzio get a haircut, a real haircut, and it ends with Lacey getting flirty with Ty.
And that's just what you want to see, your bartender smoking a cigarette as he makes your drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird how out of place that kind of thing looks now.
Yeah.
Didn't think about it for the first maybe 10 years that I was watching this movie.
Well, if you're watching him take that, he puffs. He doesn't inhale, though. He just does a little quick puff.
Now, I've never smoked. Is that the cool way to do it?
Well, the coolest way is when you're about to go underwater, like he did in later on in the film.
That's the coolest way to do it, yeah. The caddy day.
Yeah, Madonna with meatballs.
Madonna with meatballs. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that sometimes you see people do it in movies when they're not, it's obvious that they're not really a real smoker, or else they don't feel like smoking at that time, and they just do a little puff there.
Huh.
I don't know.
What I think is interesting.
They're trying to not change the length of the cigarette at all for editing purposes, continuity.
That's dedication. That's professionalism.
But I think what's interesting here is that in the minute before, he comes up and says, "Can you make a bullshot?" And he immediately says, "Can you make a shoe smell?" We cut to this, and now Rodney's a little bit irritated because he starts peeling off the money. And he goes, "You're all right, kid. You're all right." It's kind of like maybe that old school, tough guy, maybe Italian respect thing. You're disrespecting me, but he's like, "Okay, you're okay. You're okay.
Yeah, he
you're
responds
funny kid.
well
you're a
to
good
somebody
kid."
who's standing his ground.
Yeah, but he's also a little annoyed. You can tell he's like, "Okay, kid, yeah, you're okay, but here, go get yourself a real haircut." Then he immediately turns around. Is he going to make him the drink? I think he doesn't even want the drink now, right?
You're just there to mess with the bartender.
He's just going to wait for his drink. He's just turning around to wait for his. He's examining the room as he waits for his drink with his back to the bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think that maybe Rodney Dangerfield, his character, Al Czervik, has a kind of an emotional void or an emotional psychological problem here where that's his way of responding to any kind of threat is to immediately go get some real clothes, get a haircut, goes right
peel
for
off some
it's a
20s,
bit like it's a bit like Trump if I can make a somewhat unflattering because I really like Rodney in this movie.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. And Rodney isn't going to get the nuclear codes, unlike
No,
Donald
not
Trump.
anytime soon.
You wouldn't give the nuclear codes to somebody who's shaking around that much with his hands and his legs.
Exactly.
So what?
Can't
So let's
possibly.
dance.
Or somebody wearing a jacket like that. I mean, that really,
Yeah, really.
has to
Yeah.
be one of the ugliest jackets I've ever seen.
That could just set off the missiles on its own, just the jacket itself.
Yeah.
It's
But I think
dangerous.
but I think that's his defense mechanism. He's like, okay, yeah, whatever, kid. All right, you're okay. Here's a couple 20s.
But he already has that rapport with D'Annunzio from their day on the links.
Doesn't mean
That was what I was going to ask. He doesn't seem to recognize him, and I was going to ask: has he realized that the bartender is his caddy from earlier in the day, who, as we discussed before, D'Annunzio is the eldest, presumably the eldest son in the family, and is working for everyone in the family. Has like 4 different jobs.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that this could be a case of the movie being shot out of sequence, and this is the first time Rodney Dangerfield has ever met the actor playing Tony D'Annunzio, so he doesn't recognize him.
Hey, Sabu.
Sabu, he says. Yeah.
Well, at least he's wearing a white tie.
Yeah,
that makes it okay.
He's got a big white tie. Let's not let the jacket get in the way of how ugly the rest of the outfit is. I mean, if he had no jacket right now, he's got a canary yellow shirt.
Yeah.
And a big, huge, like blisteringly white tie.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it wrong to say that it almost looks good? Like, I mean, it's all.
Yes, that's wrong to say.
Is it really? I mean, none of it is shabby. That's the weird thing. Like, it's all well made and well put together. It's just so clashing and insane, and like just insane choices for each piece. But each piece on its own is kind of okay in a way, right? Maybe? Am I nuts?
No, you're wrong. Okay,
I could be wrong.
Normally,
I've been wrong before.
I'm the new guy, so I wasn't going to say anything.
No, please no.
Normally, I mimic Tom by saying, "You're not wrong. You're not wrong." But instead, it's like, "You're wrong."
I am wrong.
Well, if Judge Smales would get a free bowl of soup with his hat, Rodney gets a steak dinner with all the trimmings for that jacket.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Like, he went to town on that hat, but like, I mean, if he went into a sport shop and saw this jacket, would he offer people free bowls of soup, or would he be like, "Oh, this jacket is beautiful. I'm going to purchase it and wear it proudly"? Like, is he being ironic at all right now?
I think trying to divert attention away from himself and immediately going after someone else's wardrobe. Again, a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
The best defense is a good offense in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Just get it away from me and onto the hat. And it worked for Smells, who crumpled like a wet paper bag when he said that.
He did.
All he had to do was look the guy up and down and go, "What are you talking about, clothes?"
Yeah.
But Smells couldn't do that.
Nope. Smells lost it.
Yep.
But I think he would get a little more than a free bowl of soup with that, or even a steak dinner. I think he gets full. I think he gets full hand release for wearing that.
Yeah, that's right.
Hand release, yes.
Full hand release. Yep. And I think with the purple pants, he doesn't even have to tip.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just complete, free.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done and done. Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
So he orders a bullshot.
Yes.
So Dan.
Yeah, I did. You'll see pictures of. I was inspired by last episode, and I looked it up, and I made a bullshot for today's episode. It's right
Sounds
here.
like a terrible mistake.
Ooh,
that is a bullshot.
It's that you can recognize that, right?
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous cocktail.
A lot of preparation, I hear.
I had to make beef stock. I had to make beef stock to do it first, and I used the Thomas Keller recipe for beef stock. Roasted vegetables go into the stock.
No, you could have just gone to the store and bought stock, couldn't you? You could
I don't do that, Tom.
Okay,
It's an
I just want to
artisanal
clarify.
drink, Tom.
I want to clarify that you started from scratch and that you went
Totally from scratch. Although I did not make my own Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, come on.
But I'll say that this drink has Worcestershire sauce in it. No, I made a nice beef stock, a nice rich beef stock, and then this is a drink where you take celery salt and Worcestershire and mix those, and I put it in a salted rim glass. I got a chilled glass, plenty of ice, vodka, and beef stock.
There you go.
My God.
Yep.
And it's chilled, though, right? You said it's chilled.
It's a chilled drink. and I tell you, it's not half bad. I mean, it is about half bad actually. It's about half bad, but it's like a Bloody Mary in some ways. And I did add a little bit of Cholula sauce to it. Just to spice it up.
Yes,
yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, that is a good call. You got to get some spice in there and a little bit of pepper I put in there. But yeah, celery salt, Worcestershire, beef stock, vodka, salt, and a lime garnish.
My God.
Real quick, if you're gonna go through all that trouble to make this artisanal beef stock, did you make enough for some soup or some consomme later, or just enough for the drink?
I did, and that's why I think I went. That's why I think when I went for the full beef stock is because for Christmas I'll be making the prime rib au jus. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
That makes
I just realized I got completely screwed on the airport minute. There's no alcohol really, so I'm gonna have to bring that up.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you got to bring something up.
Are there no drinks that pop up in that movie at all? I'm trying to think of there's
shots of people serving stuff, so I guess I wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, something in
first class,
perhaps? This is a movie
with Burt Lancaster and Dean Martin in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be some alcohol.
But Dean was sober for the whole movie.
Oh, he was? Oh.
Yeah, he was a pilot.
That's unbelievable. Oh,
Wrong
you know how
Dean
pilots
Martin
are. They're
movie.
always very sober.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very,
especially in those days.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Knock a couple back at the captain's room.
They were in those politically incorrect days. They were having highballs and hand release in the cockpit. I don't think you even had to wear a seatbelt on the airplane back in those days. You didn't have to wear pants. You just had to wear that white shirt with the black tie and the sergeant stripes on the shoulder.
Yeah, the pants were implied.
The chevron, right?
Yeah, the chevron. 2 chevrons up.
Oh God!
And just from the waist down, nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I'm dressed tonight to do this.
Oh, perfect.
Oh yeah.
You're
He's got the
representing.
Rodney jacket, no pants.
and my Bushwood shorts.
I wore jackets like that in high school once in a while, because I was trying to wear the loudest shit imaginable because I had to wear a jacket, so I was trying to go like, hey, check it out, I'm a rebel.
Were you Ducky from Pretty in Pink?
I was like Ducky from Pretty in Pink, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had to do the same thing. We had to wear a shirt and tie and a sweater or jacket, but everybody wore sweaters. But you could also wear a turtleneck, but you'd cut out the dicky and just stick it in your sweater. Yeah.
Yeah. Stick the dicky in your sweater for sure.
You're good to go. All right. So we got Rodney. Rodney throws the money down. He turns around, and I noticed something here. Who's he talking to when he's monologuing?
He's talking to Rodney. He's talking to himself.
So that's like his inside voice or inside his head, but he's monologuing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's imagining Carnegie Hall in front of him.
He's got to be settling in because he's got like an hour and a half wait before he gets his drink. The guy's got to make beef stock and then find the Worcestershire sauce.
He's got to roast up the beef stock. Yeah, exactly.
Let it cool. He's going to be there all night.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a great experiment to go into a bar today and ask for a bullshot and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be some crusty old hotel bar where there's some dude being like, no one's ordered that in 30 years. And turns around and excitedly keeps beef stock around just in case.
It's got it.
I bet there's not a single bar in San Francisco that will make that.
There's probably it's probably in a glass case, and it's like a fire extinguisher. You got to break the glass to get to the beef stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
In case of bullshot, break glass.
Yeah.
In case of goddamn Caddyshack hipster doofus or ordering a bullshot.
I bet you could get one. I
glass.
bet you get one in Brooklyn. If you go to Brooklyn and like Fredericksburg or something and ask for a bullshot, I'm sure it's a regular drink.
Sure.
You can get a bullshot up there in Greenpoint or something. Guarantee it. Yeah.
Yeah, bullshot and a knuckle sandwich in Greenpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a bullshot and a knuckle sandwich.
To go.
To go.
Bag of hammers. To go.
And a bottle of anything. To go.
Bottle of anything.
Now, Mark, you actually met Rodney once. Is that true?
Yes,
or you were in his presence at a party?
Now we're getting a real nitty gritty right
let's
now.
get down to it.
Tell me more.
I was working for HBO in their creative services department, which was like their in-house advertising agency. And we would one of the things we had to do was make up invitations to these swanky parties that, of course, none of us were invited to. But then we'd take the printing samples and show up. And it worked great. And I think it was a comic relief party. And my wife and I, we were walking out, and I look over, and there's Rodney Dangerfield just standing by himself. So I walked over. I said, "Oh, Mr. Dangerfield, Caddyshack was the greatest." And he looks at me and goes, "Thank you very much." Just like that. And that was it. My little encounter.
That was it.
Yep.
Golden.
Were the legs shaking? I'm picturing the legs shaking.
No, he was wearing it was almost like a kind of a leisure suit thing with like a short sleeve leisure suit. I remember it was like a weird outfit he was wearing, but yeah, he was very nice. It had to be in the early 90s, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Holy cow! I you know what? I kind of want your autograph now.
Yeah,
just for meeting Rodney.
Just send me anything, I'll sign it.
Sign it, Rodney.
Yeah.
And then the other cast member I met was Michael O'Keefe.
Oh.
This was
Academy Award nominee.
Yes.
Michael O'Keefe.
This year, wasn't it? I mean, wasn't it 1980, like the same year as Caddyshack he was nominated?
That's right. Yeah,
for
that's right.
Great Santini.
It was the Great Santini, yeah.
You gonna cry?
Sorry,
go
ahead.
Yeah, he's his son.
I totally spaced that he was in that movie.
Wasn't he hitting him in the head with the football?
Yeah. With the basketball.
The basketball, yeah.
That's right.
Bouncing out the back of his head.
You gonna cry?
I'm going to cry. But,
I'm going to watch it on YouTube later, that scene.
Was this did you meet him during the period where he hated Caddyshack?
Yes. And I had no idea. This was I was part of a group called the Creative Coalition, which was kind of like a Broadway celebrity do-gooder association. A lot of celebs were part of it, and the meetings were at a restaurant called Sardi's. And I walked in, and I'm standing in the back, and I look over, and there's Michael O'Keefe next to me, and I said, we said hi to each other, and I said, "Oh man, you were so great in Caddyshack." And he just looked at me and he goes, "Well, that was a long time ago." And he kind of walked away.
No way.
I had no idea. And then I read about him, and apparently for years he hated being reminded of it. And then he was doing a show, and he was being made up, and the makeup girl mentioned Caddyshack, and she got the same response. And she said, "Hey, the reason I'm telling you this is because my father was dying of cancer, and the only thing that would make him laugh was Caddyshack." And then now, apparently, after hearing that, he's cool. He's cool about it.
He's cured cancer with Caddyshack, so now he's cool with it.
Yeah. He tried to watch The Great Santini. He didn't laugh once.
Yeah, right.
We went through the whole Michael O'Keefe catalog until finally we found a comedy, and that did the
trick.
trick.
I appreciate that, though.
Yeah.
Michael O'Keefe looked at it and goes, "Okay, you know what I mean? Calm down a little bit. It's fine."
Well, maybe he was,
because big deal.
It's interesting because we talk about Danny as a character, and he's kind of that kind of, Danny Noonan is kind of an asshole. We've been talking about this over the minutes as we kind of see the rise of D'Annunzio. D'Annunzio is kind of this character that we admire now because he's like a hardworking and he's a lot of redeeming factors where Danny's just kind of a meh. He doesn't really give a shit. And maybe that's kind of, hearing that about Michael O'Keefe is like, oh, yeah, Caddyshack. But, yeah.
It's beneath me.
Yeah.
I'm an actor,
yeah,
damn
it's
it.
beneath me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it comes off.
I just did it for the money.
It's a very interesting movie where the protagonist is, not really as likable as one of the villains,
Right. And until somebody said to him one day, "So you know what? You shared the stage. You shared scenes with one of the greatest actors of our time. Ted Knight."
Yeah. I was going to say Bill Murray.
No, Ted Knight. Nobody hit their mark like Ted Knight in this movie.
No, he is an absolute pro.
Yeah.
Apparently, he didn't find any of it funny when they were shooting. He was like, "I don't get it."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He thought he had no idea what manner of tomfoolery was occurring and why it would be appealing.
But the genius was he did not allow it to affect his professionalism.
Right.
He hit those marks.
Yeah, he got out there and he just screamed at McFiddish. He did all the things you needed to do. Yeah. There's no lack of you would watching him in this movie. You wouldn't think for a second that his heart wasn't fully in it.
Yeah.
I want it
tremendous,
buffed and cleaned with a fine chamois, and I want it now. Chop, chop,
chop, chop. Oh man.
Oh my god! I mean, this is a gift that keeps on giving. I mean, every line is a gem in this movie.
Yeah.
It is funny when we started this whole thing. We're kind of asking each other, like quizzing each other, like, "Hey, so whose movie is this? Who's the king of this movie?" And I think most of us said Rodney from the beginning, but then I don't know. I don't know if we've all changed our minds and we're like, "Oh my god,
it's a prize fight between Rodney and Ted Knight."
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Smells is my favorite from the movie, I think, and
it's 13 rounds.
Yeah,
the two of them.
Right.
And it ends with Moose and Rocco chasing them off into the sunset.
Help the judge find this wallet.
Yeah. And we all know that after the 13th round that Rodney wins and everybody's going to get laid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's true. Right.
That's why we're rooting for
Rodney.
Rodney.
What are the favorite lines of you guys? I think mine has to be, Elihu, will you loofah my stretch marks?
That
Right.
is pretty. I don't know why that is so quotable, but it is.
Yeah,
he says it. She says his name in that scene.
She says it twice. Actually. She says it later in the party. Yeah, Elihu.
Yeah.
Oh, does she?
Elihu instead of Elihu.
Yeah.
I think I always assumed she was just saying like anywho or like it's kind of like whatever.
Yoo-hoo. Yeah, I never picked up on it until I saw it this time. Well, I
think. It's not this minute. I think it's the next minute. It has, I think, Ty Webb's best line. And I can just say it. Who cares? When she's being all flirty and she's like, I bet you have a lot of nice ties, Ty. And he kind of laughs and he's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is.
It's like kind of perfect. It's like if somebody's like being like, specifically,
Human.
deliberately opaque and, flirty in a weird roundabout way. And you're just kind of like, I didn't follow that. I'm sorry. I think you're flirting with me, but I'm not totally following. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I really like the one where he goes, Rodney's complaining about his golfing and his own golfing. And he says, you're not good. Not good. He sounds like he's gonna console him, but he's just telling him how he's not good.
Yeah,
I like that line.
How do you measure yourself against other golfers? By height.
By height.
The best part of that is that Ted Knight doesn't respond to it at all. He just kind of goes with it. He's kind of like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
Next.
Well, when did you first see Caddyshack? That's the question.
My God,
we've all gone over
I'm gonna
this.
date myself, but I saw it when it came out.
Oh, nice.
And I saw it in Bedford Hills, and this theater in the middle of the movie, they stopped the film and turned up the lights, and they wanted everybody to go out and buy popcorn and candy, and then they started it up again, which I thought was that's the only time that's ever happened to me. Was
they strong-armed you.
I don't think they should
for candy.
I don't think they were allowed to, but yeah,
it was the concession lobby.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's crazy. I've never heard of that before.
I just remember everybody howling at this movie.
Yeah. This was a cable discovery for me as a kid. Like, I'm not supposed to be watching this, but I'm watching it.
Do you remember the exact moment when they shut the movie off?
I wish I did, but that was a lot of martinis ago, so I don't.
Yeah. Oh wow!
I feel like that would have been burned into my memory.
Now, I had a situation like that with The Big Lebowski. I went to see that in the theater, and I saw it I just moved to Chicago, and it was one of those like $3 or $4 theaters, and there was a lot of riffraff in there. So I'm watching the movie, and this guy behind me's got the shakes. And he's kind of keeps bumping into my seat. He's making these noises and whatnot.
Rodney!
No, it wasn't like that. It was kind of uncomfortable, and I'm like, I just want to get through this movie because I'm loving it. And it's the scene with Turturro. It's the Jesus scene, the golfing and the Gypsy Kings with the Hotel
bowling.
California.
Yeah.
The bowling scene. Yeah, with Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And right in the middle of that, the guy starts just kicking the back of my seat and screaming, "Yeah, fucking like that! Yeah, fucking like that!" And I go,
come on!
What the hell? He goes, "You," and he goes, "You want to mess with me? You want to mess with me?" And I got up and left. And to this day, whenever I watch that movie, at that exact moment, I get like tensed up.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I get uncomfortable.
I thought you were going to say he made you go buy refreshments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go get some popcorn. Don't
Give
you
me
know?
some popcorn and cut the bottom out, kid.
You want me to stop this?
They're going to restart.
Popcorn.
Don't you know they restart the movie right here?
Yeah. They rang the concession bell. Get out there.
So they stopped the movie, or you had to leave?
Who, me?
Yeah. They didn't stop the movie though.
No, I left because the guy the guy he wanted to start a fight, and he got up. He goes, "You got a problem?" I said, "You know what? I don't have the personality to deal with this because it's not going to end well."
I'll have you know I'm a visitor to your city, sir.
Mm-hmm. Fair city.
I never understood things like that. Like, I mean, that of course must have been, that could have been a complete maniac, right? But I've been in occasions before where, like, you wonder, why do you want to fight right now when presumably you're here for the thing that we paid to get in to see? So why would you want to? It's very strange to me. You
could have fought somebody in the street.
This happened to me one time at a Low concert.
You could have just fought some random dude.
Do you know the band Low? Yeah.
Yeah, they play very quiet.
One of my favorite bands. Really, really minimalist. Really, really like,
Yeah, very quiet and
slow.
Very laid back.
It's really, really cool. I really like it. But I'm at a concert at St. Andrews Hall. But this is after I left,
Detroit.
Moved away from Detroit. But it was St. Andrews Hall in Detroit. Great concert venue. And I'm standing there, and I'm old now, so I'm standing there watching the show, and then some people are just yapping behind me. Yap, 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 really loudly, And, a little yapping's fine, but, like, these people were just, yammering on. So I turned around and I shot them a look or whatever. And after a while, I was like, why don't you guys just go talk about this where the bar is? Like, just, why would you, and the guys, of course, immediately, you want to go? Come on, man, what's up? Want to go outside or something? I'm like, I was thinking, you paid to get into a Low concert, and I don't want to go outside. Like, the whole point is that I want to be here. So I'm not sure why you'd think that I'd want to go outside with it. Well, I did say that.
No.
I did say that. I said, no, I don't want to go outside. I want to stay here. What are you talking about? Like, why would you? Yeah. Why would you want to go outside?
Oh, that's
it's so
great.
Strange. Yeah, and I thought I always
why
wondered about that.
Why are you inviting me outside?
Who goes to concerts and then just yaps through them in the main room?
Yeah.
Like, you could just do that in the back or whatever. Like, I don't understand why. And it's very strange. I've never understood it.
People are sick monsters.
Yeah. People are shitty.
Yeah, exactly.
People are shitty.
I hate people. I mean, I like you guys, but I hate most people.
That's about it. The 4 people on the show. That's about it.
Well, we're
all I can stand.
We're kind of there's a selection bias here. We're all Caddyshack fans. There's a lot of stuff we have in common. So if we were just 4 random people,
we all have Tom in common. All 4 of us in this on this conversation right now have Tom. And if you take Tom out of the situation, it could be like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, it really could.
I'm the glue.
Yeah.
Tom is the glue.
It could get ugly in a second.
Just disrespecting Tom and ridiculing him is something that brings us all together, I think, in a lot of ways.
Wait, is that what you've been doing? Oh, my God. I thought you were showing me the utmost respect.
But Dan and myself have also found that if we go too far with Tom, his followers on the Caddyshack listeners hole on Facebook come to his defense.
They'll turn on us. That's right. He's got this legion.
Yeah, they turn on us quickly.
Yeah. I don't have anything like that.
You need another podcast to build up an army for you.
An army of nerdlingers.
Bring him over here. Yeah.
And the thing about Tom, he just keeps coming like a zombie. And, and he'll rope-a-dope you. He'll rope-a-dope you. You ridicule him and ridicule him and ridicule him. You get tired.
Yeah, and he comes back.
And that's when Tom goes over the top.
And he comes back even more pleasant than he was before. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey. Remember that time you kicked me and shoved my face in the dirt?
Let's go get a sandwich.
Yeah. You and me, we're pals.
All right, so Rodney's turned around now. He's monologuing.
Yeah.
Right.
And we just get a little bit of it. We just get a hook in it. A hook.
He tells one joke, a marginal joke.
With the hook in it.
Yeah.
Kind of an old chestnut about last time I saw a mouth like that, I had a hook.
Yeah, it is a very...
You don't ever get to see the mouth that he's talking about. He's just all about Rodney's performance.
It is a very casual talking to himself kind of joke. Like, just kind of,
And he has
it's like the first joke that came out of his pocket.
He has a violent neck jerk for emphasis.
It's like a nervous tick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The man is a nervous tick.
And what's the other thing that he says that I absolutely love? Dance to the living dead.
Yeah, that was a minute or so ago. Yeah,
but he starts with
That's really good. You can't believe it.
Yeah,
that is really good. That is only the first. I mean, right now we're still on. That is only the first maybe 10 seconds of the minute. He only takes up about 10 seconds in this minute.
Yeah,
and then we're on the veranda.
Well, let's go out on the veranda
with Ty and Lacey Underall.
Yeah. And they're getting flirty.
Kind of carries on like this.
Yeah. What was she giving him in the last minute? She was giving him the big eye. Is that what it was?
The big eye.
Someone's giving you the
Big eye. Yeah.
That's the minute before.
Yeah. I just was trying to remember that
That
phrase.
sounds like
It's still weird
like
to
a
me.
butthole euphemism, don't it? The big eye.
I can see that
Yeah.
girl's big eye.
It's winking at me.
That's disgusting.
Right in the big eye.
This is disgusting.
Well, that's in the minute
Give me
before.
sti-
She goes,
It's giving me the stinky winky.
don't look now, but
Sorry.
someone's giving you the big eyes.
And he looks over and someone's mooning him.
Someone's exposing themselves in the middle of this 4th of July supper at the country club.
The big eye. I don't know. I didn't even know that was a phrase. It's probably from like the 30s or something.
Yeah, that sounds like a very...
But this was all about different classes, right? It was Danny Noonan is the working class guy, and so is Rodney, and then Judge Smales and the others. They're the upper crusties.
Yeah, but then you got Ty, who's an upper crusty, but he doesn't
give a damn.
Yeah, he's on the side of the slobs more than anything else.
Yeah, he's a crossover character. He is, according to Harold Ramis, Danny Noonan is looking for a role model, and he finds it in Ty Webb.
Yeah.
What Danny could be if things go well.
Yeah.
I like Ty's line here also, the one where he does the kind of the almost the Porky Pig thing where he goes, what brings you to this nape of the woods, neck of the wape? How come you're here?
How come you're here?
And that's sort of like
pretty
if
great.
Porky Pig would do that because he'd get hung up on a word, he'd have to change it. You know what I mean? He'd go like. I remember one time in one of those episodes of Looney Tunes, he was a porter, and he goes, "I'll take your luggage," like that.
Yeah, I couldn't say bag.
And that's kind of like what he's trying to say, bags, and that's what Ty does here. He's trying to be smooth, and then he says the least smooth thing possible.
Yeah.
How come you're here?
How
Oh,
come
with the
you're
Porky Pig, it was he's trying to spit out a halfpenny word, and he ends up spitting out a 5-cent word.
Right.
You know.
Just 'cause
That's
it starts
true.
with an L
Yeah,
instead
he
of a
goes
P.
up with the word.
And how
But then here-
absolutely gorgeous is Cindy Morgan?
Oh my goodness.
God!
Yeah. Come on now. I mean,
She's Tron gorgeous.
we haven't talked.
See, there's something about her, but there's something about her that rubs me the wrong way in this movie. It's like, maybe it's just because,
Just to be rubbed at all.
They're just like every girl in high school that just
she could rub me
annoy-
anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't feel it.
Yeah. She's. I know what you mean. She's.
There's
I
something
was
about her
always
that's
more
like, shut up.
into Maggie O'Hooligan when I was watching this movie when I was younger, but it's it might be changing over time. I might be coming around on
Lacey's the one who gets
Lacey
naked.
Underall.
But Lacey says something here that's disturbing. Her answer to Ty here saying, what are you doing here, is a very disturbing line that I don't think anybody picks up on. She goes, Daddy thought I needed expanding, or I needed to be expanded. It's kind of disturbing the way she says it.
Wanted to broaden me.
Right.
Oh, yeah, broad.
Daddy, no,
Yeah.
or she said, Daddy thinks I need to be broadened.
Yeah.
Right.
It's disturbing.
Well,
It
she
is
is a little
weird.
disturbing, I'll say.
Yeah.
I do like the more
Yeah,
down
it's
home
disturbing.
Maggie O'Hooligan, where you define down home as the Irish Hills. But
Yeah.
Right.
And she disappeared from the business, I think.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
that actress.
that's right.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, we talked
were
about
talking
that, yeah.
about there are rumors that she went that she fell in with the wrong crowd and had like psychological issues and is now living somewhere out
right.
of the
Under an
Hollywood.
assumed
Yeah,
name.
you can read all about it
Yeah.
on the train blog that we read it on. There's a train blog where it comes
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Train
A
fancy.
train opera. Trains Illustrated, where a train operator meets her on the line and then has to drive her home or something, and gets all into that. But when you say she disappeared, she really did. I mean, she was like completely gone.
Yeah.
No mention of her at all. Very strange. There's got to be some
Is
story
this an
there.
Animal House and that's it?
Maybe the
Yeah.
Caddyshack minute will be able to get on a, blow the lid off the story.
Yes, finally. We're just the guys to do it.
Right.
The other thing she says here that bugs me, he's like, what are you into? What do you do? And she says, the first thing she says is skinny skiing.
Skinny skiing on acid.
Yeah.
and then, skinny skiing, and then going to bullfights on acid.
right,
and both of those things, they sound way too forced to me. Like she sounds like she didn't do either of these things ever in a million years. She just thought that they sounded like cool things that would shock a guy.
She's trying to just
and
be
intrigue
cool.
him.
Maybe that's why Mike is sort of to quote unquote rub the wrong way. And I do agree with that, Mike. It's just a little too much. Yeah.
Well,
You see
everything,
through
because
her,
even
Mike.
her line, like "go for it." That was like the word that was like
Go
the word
for
that
it.
every woman in movies would say, "Go for it."
Go
In
for
these,
it.
like,
Right.
Hot Dog the movie, or
Let's not. Yeah, let's
fantastic
not. Let's not obscure the main point, which was brought up here, is that she looks, and as I said before, she looks great, and I like that whole era of like that kind of like simple tube dress, Tom the hair around that time, both women and men's hair. I have to say, I like it. It looks good.
Yeah.
I like the men's hair too. It was beautiful. The feathered, blown drying look.
Looks great.
This could be a scene from Chips right now.
Yeah.
Carefree times.
She could be on Charlie's Angels.
Those were
Would've been
heady
gorgeous.
days.
Yeah.
Those were good.
We were only kids. for it.
Simpler.
At least we were.
I was about 5. Yeah.
That was
All right, I'm going to go now. It's nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, this is the sad and weepy part of the podcast. We hit right about minute 40 is when it starts to get a little sad and weepy.
Yeah.
You got to try to get Brian
That's
Doyle
true.
Murray on this.
Oh my God, how great would that
Sure.
be?
Make a couple phone calls.
I wouldn't be able to stop talking about him. I'm about to see Brian Doyle Murray. I watch Scrooged every year, and I'm about to see Brian Doyle Murray in Scrooge, which I love. He playing Bill Murray's dad, actually, in that movie. Buys him 4 pounds of milk-fed veal for Christmas when he's like 5 years old. So good.
I forgot that he plays his dad.
I
That's
just love
hysterical.
his character in this. You're a good kid, Danny. She needs you. Pick that up.
She needs you. Pick up that wrapper.
Pick that up.
Pick up that blood.
Pick up that blood.
What's
That
that
might be
sign
my
say?
favorite.
He is
Yeah,
awesome.
that might be my favorite line in the movie if we're talking about favorite lines.
no bare
It'd be
feet.
hard to pick one, but pick up that blood has got to
Yeah,
be.
pick up that blood is pretty fantastic. It's like the perfect choice of words.
Yeah.
We were saying, when that line was on, we're like, if you just said clean up that blood, it would have been nothing. It's like a nothing line. But pick up that blood. Like, wait, what did he just say? What is he conceptually? What is he saying? What is he actually trying to communicate? Pick
Yeah,
up that blood. That's
It's a
insane.
beautifully absurd line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless that man.
I'm all finished with my bullshot now.
I was going to
I
say,
went
how's
down-
is
Oh,
it
right.
ice?
Did you actually?
The lavatory is 3 steps that way.
Now, did you down it just before you announced that, or have you been
No.
sipping
I
it
started it
quietly
just
this whole
before the
time?
podcast. No, I just started it just before the
Okay.
podcast, and I've been, it's about a quarter cup of vodka in there, so it's no joke.
You still got the
you
ice
go.
in there? You got
Yeah,
a
I got
couple
the
of
ice
glass
in
of
there.
ice right now? See, now, if I'm going to go back
It
to...
smells like celery salt, the ice, though, and I'm enjoying it
that's
very
what
much.
I'm going to tell you a quick little story. So let's all go back to a Walnut Creek Country Club where I was the bartender in the men's grill.
Oh, Mr. Foghat.
Yes,
Where you remember Mr. Foghat, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I was working in there one afternoon. This old grizzled guy in the men's grill. Again, no women allowed in the men's grill. So he had like a Manhattan drink of some and I took the glass away when he was finished, and he grabbed me by the wrist and like forcefully like slammed my hand down on the table. He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "You're done with." I'm taking the glass away. I go, "There's nothing but ice in there." He goes, "That ice has been well seasoned." And he wrestled it from my hand and just sat there and stared at me.
Good God.
So you have well seasoned ice right there, Dan.
Jeez.
Nice. And did Mr. Foghat witness this?
No, he was somewhere else at the time.
Oh, thank God. You would have been killed.
No.
Yeah. I was hoping
That's
to
crazy.
be a Mr. Foghat story. It didn't really go anywhere.
It didn't, but it painted a picture.
Fuck you, Dan. Oh, fuck yourself. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck Tom. I don't know this other guy well enough
Yeah.
to tell him to fuck
You're not
off, but
gonna
I'm
tell
in
our
a
guests.
mood right now.
He's a good guy.
I'm not going to tell him.
No,
I
he's good.
refuse
He's
to. I'm
This is a
stopping
very
short.
hostile show. I love it.
Yeah. All right then.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
Mike.
is the first
Okay,
time.
Mike.
You know what though? What is this? Minute 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write this down in your notes. This is when I turned on Dan because I haven't turned on you yet.
Yeah, you did. You told me I used the 50-cent words. And yeah, hey,
No,
listen,
but that was just criticism. That was a little constructive criticism. I
Okay,
turned
that's
on you.
fine.
You and
All
Tom
right.
can go fuck yourselves now.
Okay,
In the
then.
listeners'
What
hole.
did I do?
No. Listen, Mike.
I said you painted a picture.
Listen. Mike, all your
You know
stories are great.
You know what?
Rodney, eye roll.
If I tell you 10 if I tell you 10 stories, 9 of them are going to hit. 9 of them are going to hit square on
All
the
right, you're
jaw.
batting
This is the
900.
one that
That's
didn't hit
pretty
square
good.
on the jaw.
So I fell
pretty good.
So I fell asleep like a typical Tom story. That doesn't make all your stories bad.
See,
Right, you're doing fine.
Right, Tom's the reverse. He'll give you 10 stories. One of them is good.
I
One
am
of them
not a good
connects on the
storyteller.
jaw.
You don't know when the one good one's
I
going to be.
listen to
though,
myself
so-
on this show. It's not good.
No, so you got to hang on. Because
Yeah.
when he does connect, I'll give him the credit. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
At
Once
least
in a
my
while,
stories
like
are
his
long and rambling.
Story about finding all the porn at Tilly Pond, and
That was great.
What other? I can't remember what other ones there were.
Oh, I
No,
missed
not
that
many.
story. Can you just send me some porn?
Yeah,
That's actually minute.
minute one.
We actually
I think
launched
that
this entire thing with a discussion of
I think that was
finding
minute one.
porn in the woods as
Minute
kids.
one.
That was minute one.
That's right.
Yeah. I think it must have been talking about seeing this for the first time on cable and the sort of early 80s access to life the kids
Minute
had
one.
that they don't have now. And it led to just finding 70s soaking porn in the woods.
Yeah,
at the hobo
kids.
porn.
at the hobo cache.
porn
Yeah,
stashes.
in the behind the bush that shouldn't be there. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
so that was a
Yeah.
question we came up
Yeah.
with was during that episode we discussed the first time you saw nudity in movies, and it was if I remember right, it's he had one, then he changed it because he realized it was Airplane, where it was the disembodied.
Yeah, I think it
or
is
just
finally Airplane.
there's no face, just like only boobs, and his dad laughed at him, laughed at it, which made him feel like he could laugh at it. And then mine was Trading Places, where setting an impossible standard for the rest of my life. And then Mike was, I can't remember. It might have been Moscow on the
say.
Hudson.
Oh, yeah, that had a
was-
good
No.
scene. I remember that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
defect.
No, that was me. That was me. That was me scouring the cable guide for the letter N, which meant nudity. And so my friend
Exactly.
Mark Heidemann and I would scour that. We'd sat through the entirety of Moscow on the Hudson for that one scene, and it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, my dad used to do this. My dad used to do the same thing with the cable guide. Then he'd say, you're going to bed around 9 o'clock tonight.
I tell you right when you're going to bed. He says, hey, listen to me.
Right before that movie comes on.
Trading Places comes on at 8 o'clock. So you go to bed right before the third act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 47 minutes to get to bed.
As
And
soon
I'd
as they
look-
get
I'd
on
look at him
that
and say, "That's
train,
fine,
you're
I-"
going to bed. You hear that train sound.
And I'd say, no problem, old man, because I got porn in my room.
Joke's on you.
Right.
Joke's on you, old man.
I'm just going to go take a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my
Collect my
walking
thoughts.
stick.
Get my walking stick.
I'm gonna go out and
So that's a question for our guest then.
Yeah, what's yours?
Being if at the risk of being a little bit older. Oh, do you remember?
I remember seeing Jenny Agar's naked in Logan's Run. And
Wait, she was naked in
Wait a
Logan's
minute.
Run?
just for like a split second, but it was enough.
Yeah.
Right. That's enough.
That is enough. Wow.
And man, I remember seeing Equus on Broadway. And
knew.
Ooh,
we had
live.
My dad was in advertising, so we got really good seats. And in the nude scene, I was like a teenager, and man, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to go beat off. But you're in a theater, so you can't do
I love
that.
You
Broadway.
can't do that in the theater, no.
Unless you're sitting behind Mike and you're just messing with
Yeah,
him.
it's in behind my
Sitting behind Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. Or Fred Willard. Oh, poor Fred Willard. Come on.
Fred Willard.
That's right.
I forgot. Whatever happened
the
to
man
that?
Why is it okay to joke about Pee Wee, but not about Fred Willard?
I think Pee Wee's made a very
We'll
nice
never know.
comeback. I mean, it took a little while, but
Yeah.
I
has.
still like Pee Wee Herman, and I like Fred Willard. I mean, unless I got to look up what he did.
Well, the sad part of both. Well, no, they were just being human beings in a porno
sure.
theater. You don't go into you go into one of those places because
No, hang on,
Yeah,
though.
It's not like you're there to see you're not there to critique anything.
Yeah, right. I don't like the camera angle
Taking
on that.
notes.
It's like
That happened to me one time.
it's almost like saying to both of them. It's like saying to both of them, Pee Wee and Fred, "How dare you be a normal human being in society?
Yeah.
You're Fred Willard for crying out loud.
How dare you act normally?
You can't go in here and do what we're doing in here.
We hold you to a higher standard.
Yeah.
We're in here because we're losers. You're
a
supposed to be
winner.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, wait, Dan started to say that happened to me once.
Well, I was in
And now I have
the
to hear
music.
what
This happened to me.
the
In
hell he
the,
was saying.
I was in the Music Box Theater in Chicago there, watching a French film
sure.
Southport.
with Bonnie.
Strike two.
You know Bonnie, Mike. Yeah, Bonnie, who's still a close
very
friend of
nice
mine,
woman.
and we were in there, and then she just leaned over to me very casually and says, "The guy down at the end of the aisle is spanking it," and I'm just like, "No, he's not," because how can you tell? It's so dark, and then
women
it became
know.
pretty clear that they know. But it was just like it was very clear that was what was happening. And then the guy got up and came over and sat right next to us, and we hit the road. We hit the road,
Oh my
and I
God.
told somebody on my way out, I was like, "Listen, you got a dude in there who likes French." It was like the most talking head movie ever. It was just two people just speaking in French to each other. Nothing else
highbrow.
happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like they were
That's
watching, like a real sexy French film. This was just like, it was like,
Yeah, like
it'd be
West
like going in and
Towers.
wanking it to. Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. No, and it wasn't. It was like it would be like going in and wanking it to My Dinner with Andre or something. It just was
I'm
not
guilty.
right. Yeah,
I've done it.
guilty as charged. Yeah, that's the first time Tom saw nudity was My Dinner with Andre. It's because he was undressing Wallace Shawn with his eyes.
Yeah.
Wallace Shawn.
How about the road to Wellville, huh? Remember the elevator ride?
No, I didn't see.
I should never saw that.
It is spankable.
Jeez.
Really? Okay. Write that down. Put an N next to it.
Yeah, right.
All right. So Dan and I had a friend in Florida. No, he's not. I don't think Dan had a falling out with him. Remember your good
fuck
buddy Manny?
Oh yeah, that's right. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it was a
So
falling
he-
out.
he-
Go ahead.
No, well, but anyways, he was, he fancied himself a writer, as most of us did in those days, and he said, I want to get a job. I'm trying to find a job where I'll meet some interesting people. And he went and worked at a porno theater, working at the counter.
Mission
But
accomplished.
he went mission accomplished. You're going to meet all
There
sorts
you
here. You just hit the character sketch
Gold mine.
trifecta. Yeah. He said his job was he would be working at the front counter, and the place would close like at 2 a.m. So he had to go in at like 1:55 and break up whatever was going on in there and get the guys out of the theater.
That's got to be the worst job ever.
30-second warning.
But he said it was. He said it was literally like he would go stand by the door and look at his watch, and right when the clock hit like 1:55, he would like grab a broom handle and kick the door in, and then just start swinging it at people with his eyes closed.
That's
you're
amazing.
kidding me.
And because it was all he would just pry people off of each other.
Oh my
And just
God.
swat them out the door.
Everyone's just scrambling.
Yeah.
He didn't put on like a rain poncho first or anything like that.
jeez.
And then because it's like flipping the lights on and watching the roaches
Oh
skitter.
man.
But he said he would just be swinging and it'd be hitting bare flesh.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it made that sound like when Rocky was beating up that side of beef in the cooler.
Yeah.
You're gonna break the ribs. Oh my God.
Oh man,
Oh, life is grand. Life is grand.
life is great.
Oh,
Shout out, Manny.
yeah, he won the trifecta.
Well, on that note,
Yeah, come
My
on, that's
God.
enough already about that.
Yeah, it's a hell of a minute.
Yeah.
do we have anything
Mike.
else for this minute?
This is a happy ending, I'll tell you that.
This is a happy ending.
Yeah.
It is.
Everybody wins. Seems like Ty's about to have a happy ending. We'll see what happens next. But yeah, Mark, thank you for joining us. This has been disgusting and disturbing.
I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to put
go. I
on
recommend
Road
it.
to Wellville and take a shower.
Go take a
There you go.
Silkwood shower.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
Oh my God!
I love it. You're a fine bunch of degenerates, I must say.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're
Spread the word.
I think each one of
We
us,
try.
at the end of every minute, we all log off here, put our headphones on, and just weep. Yeah, just weep
What
for a
have we
good
done?
15 minutes.
that's mostly what it is.
Where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Listen, we're all busy. We all got work to do. It's just a little diversion.
Yeah. You got to stay
wink,
sane somehow,
wink.
right?
I do thank you for joining, though. I'd love to
as a-
hear the story about meeting Rodney and meeting Michael O'Keefe, but mostly the story about meeting Rodney. You're like a star in my book,
Yeah.
having met Rodney.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Damn. I should have gotten a lock of his hair or something.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Should have gotten his
You should
jacket
have gotten a tug of his tie.
next time. There you go.
Well, I saw him perform once at the Radio City Music Hall, and he had a girl come up on stage, and she had to, kiss him right on the lips, and then he would give her his tie. I remember that. I remember sitting there going,
Oh, he just pulled her out of the
"Man."
audience, you mean?
Yeah, some woman from the audience. She came up,
Oh, it's hysterical.
and I just was sitting there going, "Man, I wish that were me."
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Always a bridesmaid,
Yeah.
never a bride.
Right, right.
Exactly.
And now our chance is gone. Oh, well.
Yeah.
And right
Well-
after the podcast, he's
Well,
going
I
to
think
go into his closet, and at the very top, there's a box. And he's going to look around, and then he's going to go reach up to the top and then grab the box. He's going to open it. There's going to be a single tie in it. He's going to
Yeah.
lift the tie up, and he's going to
Exactly.
smell it really closely to his face, put it back, look around again, then hide it, and then go to bed.
And he's going to say to himself, those guys will never know that little girl was me.
Right?
That girl who kissed him on the lips was me.
That's right.
That's beautiful.
How ironic. That is a little
like a
weird,
fairy
I have
tale.
to say. Again, as an aside, that's a little weird that Rodney, of all people, would do this whole kiss for a tie exchange when, in his own book, he says as a child, as Mike said
No.
earlier, that the guy made him sit in his lap and
No, the
he
story-
gave him a nickel.
No, the story was he was talking about his mom. Well, she would never, what a great mom she was. She'd tell me to go out in the yard, and I'd go out there and I'd bang nails into a piece of wood. And then I said, I'm going to go outside. I'll walk around the corner. And then another day I walked a little farther around the corner. And then there was this guy who would sit on the stoop of the store, and he would say, hey, kid, come on over here and sit on my lap. So and then every day I'd go over there, and he'd say, come sit on my lap. I'll give you a nickel. And then he would put his arms around him and give me a little kiss on the lips. And he'd say, give me a kiss. I'll give you another nickel.
Oh, boy.
And then he would say, and then he said he would go back and hammer a few more nails, and he said he would do that every day.
See, that's not good. And then later on in life, he's giving away ties for kisses on stage. I just think that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Now you see how that kind of thing...
I don't see it. How's that weird? What's it all
perfectly
disturbing
normal.
about that?
Seems perfectly normal.
Oh, my God.
Well, this just took a dark turn.
Yeah,
did.
we usually don't
God.
end
Yeah, I
on a high
didn't mean
note.
that.
I tried to end it on a high
No,
note. I
I
tried so
usually-
hard.
Yeah, we were almost there.
We always wait
Well,
like
let's-
30
No, I
seconds
end
too
really
long.
badly every time.
I'll tell you how we can end on a high note. You've earned it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would tell us something? Plug something.
Yeah. Tell us
Oh,
where we
there
can
you
find
go.
a
Tell
fun
us where
podcast.
we can see you, we can hear you.
On the Airport Minute,
Beautiful. Which I love, by the way.
Excellent.
airportminute.com. And or you can get the Anchor Bay versions of Halloween, Halloween 4, Halloween 5. My Stellar works
awesome.
on that. Making of Goldfinger, Making of Thunderball.
Oh, excellent.
Excellent.
It's all out there.
Well, there you go.
Beautiful.
Can I ask you, what minute are you on in the Airport Minute?
Whoa, that's a tough question. We're up to minute. I want to say we've got about 20 minutes of the movie left.
Oh,
That's a long
rounding
movie, too.
home.
Yeah, it's a long arse movie.
It's like 135 minutes or something, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
You guys are insane.
Yeah, it's the movie that never ends.
I heard that you
That's
guys,
amazing.
like all these minute podcasts started popping up, and hey, somebody's doing Airport Minute. I'm like, wait, did you say Airport Minute? Somebody's doing Airport?
Yeah, not
Oh my
Airplane.
God, Airport?
Which I want to do. Airplane. We're
That'd
going
be
to
great.
do.
Yeah, you got to do Airplane.
That'd be awesome.
That's a
Yeah.
great one for the minute.
Can I please come on for the formative scene that I was sitting there with my dad in the theater and boobs showed up and I realized it was okay to enjoy boobs in a movie theater.
It's the random scene, right, where the plane is going down and mayhem.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like the complete non sequitur boobs.
Right.
Then there's two guys fencing.
Oh my God!
Absolutely, you're all coming on
Hey,
when we do
thank
it.
you.
All right.
That'll be good.
Fabulous.
Everybody's going to get laid.
I'm all right. Okay. All right. Well, on that
All right,
note,
Tom,
that's a
do
high
it.
note. Oh my God! Please let's end it now because we're on a high note. Thank you all for listening.
Oh, well, you have to
We've all
do it,
done an
Tom. You
excellent
never
job.
do it in time.
I'm doing it now. You're interrupting me. This is happening. Watch this happen. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Mike. And thank you so much, Mark Cerulli, our guest. We will see you next time for minute 36 here on the Caddyshack Minute.
Bullshots all around.
Bullshots all around. And smelling shoes.
We're all going to get bullshot.
Smelling shoes.
Gungala gunga.
Gungala gunda. We're all going to get tied with ties. Whatever that means.
Hey, you scratched my ankle.